little stressful because I didn't know really what kind of shape I was in. Just coming in today, I had 2 hard throwing sessions the last 2 weeks. One went really bad and one was like okay. So it's one of those things like I'm training by myself, like at the house in Arkansas, and it's hot. So like finding that intensity can be difficult. So it's been more of like a technical dress rehearsal. So kind of dig deep and get on it and see what happens. So you never want to go into Olympic trials not knowing what kind of shape you're in, but that was kind of the cards I was dealt this year. So I surprised myself a little bit out there. It kind of just took getting out there, getting in the ring, finding that intensity again. I feel like I kind of flipped that switch and felt like my old self, especially in the later rounds.
What was that feeling like when you threw 22 in that first throw?
Yeah, it was a great step, just because it took such a pressure off. There's that sense of relief, like, okay, I'm close, like that'll probably make it, but I'm back into a competitive range. Because I mean, yesterday with qualifying, I wanted to expend as little as possible. I didn't really tap into that high intensity and get on it. And like 21:44 is an okay throw, but it wasn't like, sometimes you get in qualifying and it's like, wow, I've got it today, and I definitely didn't have it yesterday. But that being 31, throwing back-to-back days is kind of tough. So I saved it for today, and yeah, I was really happy with how I competed.
Was the adrenaline flowing? Were you able to kind of forget about all of that stuff going in and just throw?
Yeah, definitely. After the first round, it was like, that's what I need to do. Like it's easy when you do it right. And so, yeah, it felt like I shook the rust off early. I was really just thankful I had a really solid first round throw. It would have been like a full dashboard lights in emergency mode if I had not knocked out that first one. So that felt good, and yeah, it felt like riding a bike. I mean, it came back fast. Yeah, overcame a lot of self-doubt to get there, because there was times that it was like, I don't know if I'm gonna reach for that high intensity and it's gonna be there. So that first round really set me up to build on the day.
How would you describe this year's journey to get to this point versus years of the past?
Yeah, so it's been extremely frustrating, more frustrating than anything else. Just with like the whole spring felt like 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. With just nerve impingement, nerve impingement in the elbow, pec, back to the elbow again, hydrodissection of the elbow. The whole thing has just been non-stop issues. The one shining light is that since I wasn't able to throw, I'm more time in the weight room. Just less time spent throwing is less calories burned. So my body weight is kind of right where I want it. Plyometrics are very good with my body weight. So it has me excited. I just needed to get through trials, buy myself 6 more weeks, and kind of transition back to throwing. So never want to do a championship with 2 hard throwing sessions. So now I can kind of get into a rhythm. Today was really good. I feel like technically I held things together well. And I just didn't have speed on that, what would be 3rd round. I kind of like tried to find that next gear, and it was almost a meter less. But that was not necessarily a bad thing. It means that if I can throw 22 mid, upper 22s on a slower throw, if I just get more reps and get my speed up, there's a lot more distance there.
Once you know you delivered, were you able to soak it in? I mean, I saw you, cheering, trying to get the crowd involved, and then also the victory lap at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we have such an awesome crowd here at Hayward. Just the atmosphere is awesome, and I feel like nowhere else in the world can I be hanging out for 40 minutes after the meet and still have people staying to want autographs. So as a shop floor, that's awesome just to see. It's something that throughout my career, I feel like not just me, but the other guys, Joe especially, have helped develop that culture and that passion for the shot put. So to see field events getting the love out here was really awesome. Yeah, took an hour-plus victory lap, and so I tried to get everybody. I think I got just about everybody that stayed.
Do you feel like you came through okay? None of those injuries really flared up today?
Yeah, I felt the elbow a little bit. Pec felt good. Yeah, anytime you kind of, the biggest thing with the elbow is the velocity is kind of what flares it up. So I'm gonna get some work done, get some ice on it, but it was better than most of my bad throwing sessions. So as soon as you let that go, if you piss that ulnar nerve off. So yeah, it feels like you smashing your hip playing bone with a hammer. So I didn't have any of those today. So it'll be a little sore, but definitely be back to training on a normal schedule after this.
Was there any consideration for just trying to make the team and save yourself from throws?
Yeah, so there was a thought, especially towards the end. I was thinking about passing throws, but I was relatively pain-free, and I felt like I was learning something each round. And so I backed off the intensity a little bit and tried to throw relatively more efficiently and focus on correcting errors that I was making. And so I think that showed up in the later rounds, because I was actually throwing pretty far at a slightly back down effort. And I mean, you get out there and you have the game plan of like, oh, I'm gonna take it easy and make the team. But you get in front of thousands of people cheering and clapping for the shot. It's like, I gotta put on a show as best I can. So it's tough. It's tough to shut it down and say, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Was there any point?
6 weeks and what you can do to that work?
Yeah, so I mean, with the Olympics, it's always a challenge. The distances that you want to throw have to be relative. I remember the best example is before Tokyo, Peyton had a Fitbit and we were at 15,000 steps before the final on the hottest day in Olympic history. So you put 15,000 steps in 3 hours in 100 plus degrees, and it's tough to throw far. So taking that into account, the biggest thing is getting a win at the Olympics. The distance is a bonus, but I would love to be in the shape that I can be in PR shape at the Olympics, and that's my favorite thing about being a world record holder, is that if you do get a PR, it's a new world record. So that's such a special feeling. But it has me really excited because I feel like while the preparation wasn't perfect, I laid a great foundation to kind of taper the next 6 weeks. So today there was some really good things. Like I got a lot of power. I'm not aggressive on my finish. I mentioned earlier, I've kind of modeled my technique a little bit more to be a little bit more finessey, kind of like a Zane Weir, because I've lost that big hit with the elbow issue. I don't have that big hit, the big finish, and the specific strength that I would like to have. And so I feel like out of the back I was pretty solid today, but bringing in a little more energy. I didn't have that turnover, that speed at the finish. So if I can have kind of that cute European setup along with the classic American smash finish on the shot, I should be throwing pretty far.
Ryan, how excited are you just to have that crowd back at the Olympics, especially after going through an accomplishment like that?
Yeah, so I mean, Tokyo as a city, as a host city, they did a phenomenal job with the cards they were dealt. But I'm just the thing that I'm the most excited about is just feeling that Olympic atmosphere in Paris. You see the world come together, having an open Olympics, just with all the athletes, the fans coming together, and you really like uniting and finding commonality around sport. And there's just so much passion that the fans bring, that the athletes get to display in person. Something gets lost in translation with TV. So I'm so excited, and I mean, you saw it out there tonight. The louder the crowd is, the more energy, the farther we throw. So I think it's going to be an absolutely electric one to final.
You had so many big moments in Hayward, but the journey to get to this one has been different than others. Does this one mean something extra to you?
Yeah, I feel like every time I come back, I feel like this is the best one. But I think I can honestly say this one's probably the best. It's a bit different than the world record. The world record was different of sorts. I feel like this had much more of a sigh of relief and kind of just proving to myself that I still got it. Because there's just a lot of self-doubt this spring at 31. I'm not at the end of my career, but there's that constant injury, and it's like, am I going to get that feeling back of throwing pain-free, of throwing efficiently? And so it kind of proved to myself that if I just keep moving forward. I mean, there was a lot of rough days along the way, and progress is not anywhere close to linear. So it was just kept hammering, kept moving forward, and got through it, and bought myself 6 more weeks to keep getting better.
How nice is it to just have this